I named my son Cash after Cassius Clay and Johnny Cash, and his middle name was Delonte, but I didn't want to name him
Delonte West Jr. just because of that. I don't want my son going to school and people making fun of him for something his daddy did. And he go to school and say, oh, didn't your daddy have sex with LeBron, mama? Man, I don't need to deal with all that, man.
Calvin Murphy with us here, ESPN 97.5. Hey, do you think there's any validity to this rumor regarding LeBron James' mom and Delonte West?
It ain't no rumor.
Huh?
It ain't no rumor. Unfortunately, my sources in the NBA tell me that it's absolutely true.
Oh.
My sources, and they're legit, tell me that it was the only people that didn't know what was happening was LeBron and me.
What?
That's right. And let me tell you something. West is one of these players now.
Delonte West.
Delonte West is one of these players now that is going to get what they call the old proverbial blackball. Oh, my God.
Wise. But what I do think it's important to mention, and I'm not getting into any details, and I never will. All I'm going to say is what I've said repeatedly, Max, and that is this. There were personal issues going on with LeBron James and his teammates. He was disrespected, and he was flat out betrayed. And I don't give a damn what anybody says. He probably will never speak about it. Some people going to call me a liar, whatever. I don't give a damn. I'm telling you what I know. He was betrayed by some of his teammates in that Cleveland organization. And that played a role into why he left Cleveland to go to Miami. And that person that was accused of quitting once he decided to go to Miami by Dan Gilbert, who not only accused LeBron of quitting, but he picked the games in which LeBron James quit. Said 2, 4, game 2, 4, and 6. He accused him of quitting all 3 games. That was disingenuous on his part. There were a lot of things going on with LeBron James that's none of anybody's damn business. And I will come to his defense to the grave on that one. What happened to him that last year in Cleveland was nothing short of betrayal. It had nothing to do with basketball, but it also compromised his greatness on the basketball court because he was distracted, which is why when he went to Miami the next year, every single press conference, Dwayne Wade was sitting by his side.
With the LeBron James story, sources tell the herd that the New York media has twice staked out LeBron James' mother's house in recent months and was going to run a very embarrassing story in regards to LeBron's mother. A story I'm not allowed to report on this network, therefore I will not. And it's the reason LeBron wouldn't visit New York, wouldn't visit New Jersey, wouldn't visit Miami. And he made them come to him because his mom travels with him and he didn't want to put her in the spotlight. It's not a great situation. I'm not going to embarrass his family. But it is a turnoff because he knows if he goes to New York and the relentless media, it puts his mom in the spotlight and LeBron's not interested. Whereas the Cleveland media understands the situation, does not camp out at the mom's house, is respectful to LeBron, and lets the mother play a much less impactful part of his life. And in the case of LeBron, there is a situation involved with his family that is not being spoken about that is unbelievably important to him. Basically, LeBron's people had to go to the New York Post and beg them not to run a story. Turn him off. Have you noticed New York in the last 3-4 weeks since that story became internet fodder? Have you noticed how New York has fallen out of favor and you never hear the Knicks and LeBron anymore? There's your reason. Come on. 6 weeks ago, oh, New York. He's going to be a Knick guarantee. Last 6 weeks, you don't hear the Knicks anymore.
Baby, right?
So finally they asked Delonte, and he had this quote. It was whether he slept with Gloria James. Quote, "Not at all. I come from an era where you don't say nothing bad about someone's parent. So, not at all." I thought, wait a minute.
That's a total, in my opinion, admission.
Yeah.
That's such an admission. It's like, yeah, I slept with her, but I'm not going to talk about it because you don't say something bad about someone's mama.
Right.
Trying to get in his head. You feel like you can break LeBron at this point?
We broke LeBron.
In Game 5.
So get your out of here with that, all right? You understand how you got the Cleveland, how you got the Miami bill? You remember
That's
that?
true. You broke him in
Okay, so
2010.
remember that, all right?
Fair
so
enough.
Stop bringing that up, all right?
Fair enough.
So they was talking to him, okay? And the league knew that they had an agenda in which we wasn't part of the agenda. You understand? Right. And that's how they ended up winning that series. Yeah, I said it.
Do you think you pushed LeBron too far in Game 5? Because Game 6, he was
far?
unbelievable. You think you gave him the eye of the tiger?
Pushed him too far?
Nothing?
Man, listen, let me say something to you. The C's, we didn't give a fuck about LeBron. We didn't fear LeBron, and we didn't think that he can beat all 5 of us. And that's how it felt. He was trying to consolidate because he didn't want the pressure on him. You understand?
See,
You
now we're
understand?
getting somewhere.
See,
Yeah, you
but
just
you
trying to
see what
hit
you
something.
did?
I get
I'm
it.
still mad
upset.
about it. I feel like we could have beaten them.
I'm sure, but we weren't part of the agenda.
Yeah.
The agenda was Miami. He wasn't going to Miami to be like Cleveland. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Wade did break
And they knew.
Rondo's elbow
Tried
and
to.
didn't even get
he
suspended.
tried to.
Remember he had the big
Listen,
arm
listen,
wrist?
bro.
Yeah,
listen,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
sensitive to all of us. Listen, a lot of people think that it's sports. If you had D Wade, Chris Bosh, and LeBron over in this corner, and you had me, TA, I'm just making these names up, maybe Paul and Rondo right here.
Yeah.
It'll be a what's up, and it'll be cool and respect, but it won't be any like fraternizing. It ain't gonna be like, yo, how the family? It won't be none of that. No, it's real. They don't fuck with us.
Forever, huh?
We don't fuck with them. But it's cool though. It's a mutual understanding in
I
which
love this.
we have respect for each other, but it won't be like when I did the interview with D Wade, that was me having to interview D Wade. But part of me, you know, that he knows and he knows. And we talked about that off camera and there was an understanding. But everybody knows that's in there. We go to All-Star games, they on that side, we right here.
Wow.
So in this one, he fell apart so badly that, look at Game 4. They lost by 10. He had 7 turnovers and went 0 for 5 from 3. Then Game 5, they lost by 32, and LeBron went 3 of 14 from the floor. And then Game 6 back at Boston, they lost by 9. LeBron had 9 turnovers in that game. 9 turnovers, and they lost by 9. And Dan Gilbert soon after told the Associated Press, and I quote, he quit. This is about LeBron. He quit. Yeah. Not just in Game 5, but in 2, 4, and 6. Watch the tape, said Dan Gilbert, who concluded the Boston series was unlike anything in the history of sports for a superstar. Period, end quote. So this conference semifinal was such a debacle of a disaster for LeBron James that his camp then put out the reports. They gave out the information to several reporters who said that LeBron had to be sedated before games 4, 5, and 6 against those Celtics because of a locker room issue that he was trying to cope with. And that's the biggest bunch of baloney I've ever heard. Sedated before those games. I don't want you. That's the all-time excuse I've ever heard.
So let me ask you.
History of excuses.
Okay.
Delonte West.
What?
Delonte West.
Yes, it's true. And that he felt sort of like this is something that everybody in their organization knew about, and by not telling him, yeah, he had sort of animosity toward the franchise and the organization.
Hold on, let me interject one more second, because I'm not positive we're allowed to talk about this, although I feel like we should, because look, whether it's true or untrue, and ESPN isn't in the policy, I don't think, of just running rumors as news or all that. I did talk about it in chat. At some point, this took a life of its own. And, you know, if you look at the way LeBron left and the way he played those last couple games, and the fact that, you know, if you watch this team the last 2-3 years, how tight they were, they had all these little rituals, you know, this was like one of the most close-knit NBA teams I think any of us had ever seen. And by the end of that Boston series, that was gone. And then he does the special, the decision, does not mention these players once, has not mentioned them since he left, has not said, like, goodbye to my brother Mo Williams in a tweet, none of that stuff. It's almost like he's gone out of his way to distance himself from everybody on that team and the
Except for
organization.
Ilgauskas. Ilgauskas seems to be his only close friend on that team now.
Right.
Like yeah.
That was the only one. So yeah, it does make you wonder, you know. And I hypothesized in a mailbag, and I couldn't go as far as I could, but something happened.
Well, I mean, we don't need to even talk about what the rumor itself is. I think most people listening to this show know what we're talking about, okay?
Right.
And that's one possibility, right?
Yeah.
It's possible that this was the spur that made him not just want to go somewhere else, but almost sort of embarrass the franchise.
Not a tutor. They had like kind of like a
handler, kind of?
Like a handler with him, you know, when he was on the team for sure.
Was the story about him and LeBron's mom dating, was that a real thing?
I don't got no confirmation on that, but I was there during that time, and based on the vibe, I don't know, but it probably was true.
I mean, she's a grown woman. I mean, if she wants to date a grown man, I mean, that's her business.
I don't know. I know we was in the playoffs against Boston that year. I was irritated because I got there the end of the season, so I didn't suit up for the playoffs. And I'm watching Rondo and these dudes run around these dudes. I was hot. I was hot. And then that come out right in the middle of the playoffs. And I'm saying that like, I don't give two shits about that. Like, give me my jersey. You know what I'm saying?
A do or die game on the road. A game that people had favored them to win from the start of the playoffs. LeBron James had 9 turnovers. And what shocked me the most was that at least 6 of them were shockingly unforced errors. They had nothing to do with defensive pressure, and they just took the heart out of his Cavaliers, I thought, because I saw a Prince James that once again was crumbling under the pressure and the expectations to be King James. And I want to point out, Jay and Rob, that the Cavs cut it to 4 with 8:37 left. And that was
back-to-back threes.
Because he made a couple of threes. Now that broke an 0 for 10 three-point string for LeBron. And the second one was about as awkward-looking a three-point shot as I've ever witnessed. But it did go in. And all of a sudden, Rondo is feeling the heat from LeBron James and misses 2 free throws. Absolutely. And LeBron comes right down and turns it over for the 8th time again and crushes the momentum. And it swings the other way, and eventually Pierce hits the three-pointer, and it's over. In the last 8 minutes of that game, LeBron James, the 2-time MVP, took 3 shots total. He ran from the ball way too much. One of the shots he made, which was an uncontested dunk. And yet, in the last 2 minutes, Rob Parker, I saw LeBron James give up, and in turn his team gave up.
The whole team did,
They all just said, okay, if you're giving up, we'll stop. We won't foul. And this was in a way that I could never have imagined a Michael Jordan or a Larry Bird or a Magic Johnson or even a Reggie Miller giving up with the game still a little bit in the balance.
For any winner.
Anybody.
Man, this is one of those you had to be there type of moments in 2010. And this is why I don't even have conversations with LeBron fans, but especially not the younger ones, because they really don't understand basketball. They really didn't watch anything, because you had to be here in these moments, or at least go back and watch this series, which, you know, LeBron fans don't even go back and watch the series that we all say he melted down or he didn't do good or he underachieved. They cover their eyes and run away when you mention these series, so they're not going to actually watch them back. But if you go watch back this series and all of the the press around it, it's hilarious, man, because I remember we was there. Some of y'all just too young to realize how bad it was, that LeBron was as good as he was, but when the pressure came on, he would melt down. Like, y'all go crazy on James Harden when he does it now, but LeBron was doing that year after year, just melting under pressure, just folding in the big moments and turning the ball over and running from the game winners and running from the free throw line. He's been doing it from day one, man. So you had to be there. You had to understand basketball or go back and watch some basketball, bro, for y'all to have these conversations, man. I challenge y'all to go watch back that series and those games that Dan Gilbert said he quit. Go watch them back, like he said. You'll see what he's talking about.
Because you're right, Skip, from that standpoint. I have him as a C-, because I thought the turnovers were just crushing. You know, I understand the other points, the rebounds, that's all
The
fine.
shooting percentage was 8 for 21, which was actually the same percentage the team shot. But
Right.
you've got to shoot better than 8 for 21.
You've got to shoot better, but you can't be so sloppy with the ball. And I think you're right. There was a definite giving up at the end where the Celtics had missed some free throws. You get them to miss 2 or 3 free throws in a row, you knock down a couple
Especially
of threes.
with Rondo handling the ball.
There's a chance that you're still in the game.
Absolutely.
I was stunned that they just said, and you're right, but they were signaled by LeBron James, who at the very end, look at where he was. He wasn't touching the ball. He was pushed all the way out. I just thought to myself, he's not engaged at all.
Right.
And
the
that
final
is the
minutes, it was
problem.
each time he held the ball, the first thing he thought to do was to get rid of it. Like he
Hot
wanted
potato. It was a game of hot
I think you hit the
potato.
nail on the head. He raised the white flag first, and you could
Everybody
see
else
it. You could
followed.
see it when they stopped fouling. The whole team put the white flag up. It was something. I think everybody was stunned as they watched that. All right, how much damage did LeBron James do to his reputation with this series of basketball?
Look, obviously, for me, as you well know, all too well, it just confirmed everything I've been saying about him for 3 or 4 years on this show. And so much of it I've been criticized for because I've been unfair and over the top when I talk about LeBron James. And so, Jay, just let me say, for the record right now, I'm offended when people dismiss me as a hater. I don't like that term when it comes to LeBron. If you want to use it in the big picture, that's fine.
And it's used towards you a lot, okay? When it comes to LeBron James and others, too.
As God is my witness, I don't hate LeBron. I don't know him well. You know him better than I do. But I get the feeling he's really a good guy, nice guy. Maybe he's too nice of a guy. But please don't kill the messenger, because all I ever do, and have tried to do from the start with LeBron James, is just watch closely and tell the truth about what I see. And truth is, from the start, I saw Batman talent, supreme talent, the biggest talent I've ever seen in the NBA. But the intangibles are much closer to Robin. He's Robin more than he's Batman. He's Pippen more than he's Jordan.
I think that's a legitimately fair point. If I may speak for those who throw the arrows at you when it comes to haters, answer this, because I think this is something that a lot of folks that listen have a problem with. We understand that there are shortcomings in the game. It's obvious. If you watch him as closely as you have, they are there. But the D- is to automatically dismiss a line, Skip, 27 points, 19 rebounds, and 10 assists. Now, yes, the turnovers are inexcusable, and the shooting percentage was pathetic, but a D- implies that he is the worst student in the class. That's where I think those that come at you with that hater line, I think that's the problem that they may have.
We're back to Michael Jordan. I feel like he begged this comparison, because he did choose number 23, and he's going to change to 6 next year, but he did steal the powder throwing routine, and I thought he shamed the number 23 the last 2 games, and that's my legacy for him right now, because that's all I have to go on. But
well, you have other games to
I
go
know,
on,
but he was lifeless in those last 2 games.
That's fair.
To the point I'm saying, he's the fake MJ. He's the 2-time MVP with 2 times the best regular season team by far, to me, and the prohibitive favorite going into the playoffs. And twice now I've gone, okay, I'm going Orlando in 6 last year over Prince James.
You got them both.
And then I'm going Boston in 6, because he can't stand up to the pressure. The higher the expectations, the worse he performs.
Right. Now this is, you talk about damaging his reputation, and I think he did damage it, especially the Game 5 was even more, where people just really lost their minds on what he was doing and couldn't put a finger on it.
A lot of head scratching to the disconnect of
to the disconnect.
He wasn't there.
Totally. I think today people should appreciate Michael Jordan more than ever before, because, and I'm not saying it's LeBron's fault, because people always want to make a comparison, totally, Skip, to Michael Jordan. And when you look and now start to compare the notes, how hard it is to win and what it takes other than just pure basketball talent, which we know LeBron has, it tells you about that gene you always talk about that Michael has, that you've got to question now whether or not LeBron really has it.
I think those questions are fair.
And I think this is what I got. Just 2 minutes ago, I'm in the cafeteria. Young 20-year-old black guy who is a LeBron fan, and those are all the people, Skip, who you hear from who are all on LeBron's the greatest, said today for the first time, you know what? I think I'm going to be off this bandwagon. He is not Michael Jordan. And I think people are going to finally buy into what you've been saying for a long time.
Let me bring something up quickly, because you have always made the contention that it was LeBron who welcomed that upon himself. Truth be told, he was the chosen one, as dubbed by Sports Illustrated.
Okay.
The mass media, Skip, from the time this kid was 15 years old, was saying, as we so unfairly and often do, here he is, the next one.
I don't believe that LeBron James discouraged those.
No, he didn't discourage it, but at 16 and 17 and 18-year-old,
but I
do you know how to do that?
Okay, what we've seen now, period, end of story. LeBron James was made for the regular season. He's a regular season dynamo. He's made for our Sports Center plays of the night because he's always number one in the regular season. But come postseason time, he's the most overrated, overhyped superstar in my history in this business. Seriously. That's my bottom line to this discussion.
That's a very fair, I would say that's fair. I would say
So
that's
far, he
fair.
doesn't
Because
have- he doesn't have the-
with the regular season accolades, we just haven't seen it where we need to see it to this point. To this point.
Yep.